to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is a Wake Up Call special presentation broadcast, and we are picture in picture with Mr. Eric Crume, who's joining us here. He's been on the show many times on Wake Up Call, and of course inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I implore you to head out to Great Lakes Honda City to go and see what they have to buy and lease. New and used vehicles there for you on site on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And of course, you can get a sneak peek by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Picture in picture with somebody, like I said, no stranger to the show, Syracuse Orange and NFL defensive line alum here with me today. I call him Crume, and he is, of course, in our wonderful history here in Central and Upstate New York. And more than anything else, a good friend of mine, and I love talking with him. It's been way too long. Mr. Crume, how we doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I got something to say to you, man, as we're here in a special type of month of our birthday. So I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and after I say 3, we're gonna say it together here. Let's see if we can remember what season it is. So 1, 2, 3. It's Libra season. That's right. So what do you think about that? What do you think about it being Libra season? Not only do we get to talk, but we get to talk going into Libra season.
Oh, it's a good feeling, and it's hot weather for October, especially for me. We got 80 degrees in October, so it started off real good. The Libra season going good so far.
Yeah, definitely happy that it's Libra season. How do you live in the Libra world? Do you feel like you found the balance? Have you figured out how to kind of have that back and forth? Do you feel like you've gotten better at being the balance beam that represents Libra?
Oh yeah, you got to have it's about like everything, putting balance to everything in life. You got something over here just to manage, then you get this to even it out. Family life, home life, culture life, sports life. So you just find out what works for you and just keep it going for the most part. That's what Libra's designed to do. Get that scale balance.
And so for you, let everybody know in this chapter of your life beyond football, playing the game of football, just what you've been up to lately and what's going on and what's taking up your time.
Nothing. Just I'm a school administrator first, and of course my family, husband. I got 2 kids, but coach as well. Coach high school football, defensive line coach. We're currently 3-1. We got a game tomorrow. We won a state championship last year, so we're looking to repeat. Got a lot of Division I guys on the team, so looking to get those guys to college. My defensive end is committed to Wake Forest. My defensive tackle got 8 offers, another defensive end with 2 Division II offers, and another defensive end with 1 D1 offer. So looking good right now.
Well, let me say this to you right now, as it's definitely something that you should know, and I'm sure once I say it that it'll make sense here, of course, but anytime, including this season, to get some of these guys out there, give them some publicity, I always am on the recruiting trail, so I'd love to talk with some of your guys if you'd be okay with that.
Oh, that's cool. I wanted one of my guys to come there, but they ain't offering me going to Wake, though. One of the best pass rushers in Michigan, fight high school football right now. He's converted receiver last year. He had 12 sacks, and he didn't start to the 5th game. Right now, he's off to a high start. He got 7 and 4, so he might break the school all-time record just from the last 2 years in sacks. So, very excited about that guy.
Yeah, what's his name?
Ryan Harrington, a.k.a. the Slim Reaper.
The Slim
nickname, the Slim Reaper.
I love that. The Slim Reaper, I love that for sure. So, let's make sure, but yeah, absolutely. I would be more than happy. You know, I always love having you on the show, and so let's do something with some of your guys there on the team, and let's make sure we give them some representation out here in this world because, you know, we reach people all over, so I'd be more than happy to help.
Oh, no doubt. I'm going to get a couple of guys up for the spring game next year. It's just I'm a school administrator, but I want to get some guys up there. I definitely think I got some guys that we can use up at Cuse, not just saying it because I'm their coach.
Yeah, no, and I can appreciate it. And, like, you know, we've talked to people that have committed and gone all over the country, all different places. And so, you know, we've reached out to many different states. And of course, I tell them all the time, you come to my hometown of Syracuse, then that's awesome. But wherever you go, I'm happy for you. And, you know, that was the case with Riley Leonard. Coming out of Alabama, choosing between Duke and Syracuse, chose Duke. We stayed in touch. And then we were at the College Football Playoff National Championship together talking with each other. So just know that wherever the guys go, they're always welcome on the show, Crume, and let's make sure we work something out and we get some of the guys out here.
I got you.
Yeah, let's do it. So being a D-line coach and obviously playing D-line in your history, what have you learned about yourself being a D-line coach?
It's required the same amount of attention, if not more, as a coach than it did as a player. Because you got to find a way to inspire somebody to do something for themselves. Even as a player, you can kind of take it on for yourself and know how to work hard, and you're relying on yourself and your teammates. But coaching is really about inspiring somebody else to believe they can do something that they probably didn't think they was capable of, or maximizing their ability and helping them along their journey. So I'm enjoying it, but that's one of the biggest differences of it's just as much work, if not more, as a coach than it is as a player.
Yeah, and having that, like you said, it's just as much work, if not more. So when you look at your student athletes now that are on this team, when you're training them, do you ever see yourself in them?
I see a lot of myself, but it's more the kids I train because I do defensive line training, but I've seen a few kids that remind me of myself, but it's more of bits and pieces in capacity than the whole player itself. Like I see people who got playing style like me, but they might have a different body style. You get kids that got the same body style, but their skill set might be different. But I see a lot of some mentality in some of the kids I had when I was coming out of here. So I see bits and pieces in multiple kids of what I used to be, or the player I was, or just the person I am as well.
So when you do see bits and pieces of yourself in others, what would you say? I mean, when you look at like hindsight 2020, what are those moments where you're like, yeah, you know what? That's something about what I do that I definitely still do to today. And then what are some of those moments where you kind of laugh and say, man, I was a knucklehead just like that kid? Like, do you have those moments where, because I do that sometimes with myself, where I'm like, man, if I could go back and just say to myself, like, hey, man, like I say it all the time, I like cardio now, but when I was playing basketball growing up, I hated to run. I only ran if you put a basketball in my hand. And now I'm like, I appreciate it so much more. So when you do see yourself in today's student athlete, what things are you like, yeah, okay, that's a part of my game that I appreciate? And then are there ever moments that you have, like I had, where you're like, man, I wish I, could tell myself, go back in time and make sure you do that?
I think the fun part is like when you see some of the kids make the plays you used to make, or just the moments, especially like, in the high school landscape football here, just seeing kids grow and develop. Like me, I went from not recruited and playing offensive line to basically turning myself into a high-level recruit in the state of Michigan in 2 years, basically. So I see guys going through transition of, like the kid I just mentioned. He was on JV in the 10th grade. Now he's leading the state of Michigan in sacks. Yeah. But so you see just the progression of, like, you see the kids that want it. And then I have a fun part of coach. It's like a few kids I see, like, man, I would love to play with that guy if I was still in high school. But then, like you said, I get the other part too, where you have the laughing moments of, like, man, and it's more just fun for me as a coach that I get the chance to laugh and see those kids go through stuff, because I'm a big joker. So I see a kid like talking and get called by the coach. Like, I can remember that happened to me when we played Missouri and Coach Schaefer got on me. So it's more me having fun with it than like, let me just jump on their back. Like, when it happens, I laugh internally, then I put them to the side. Like, man, I'm gonna tell you about this. You reminded me of such and such. So that's one of the fun things as well.
And for you, and to let everybody know that doesn't know, so being the D-line coach, just the school that you're at, where you're the D-line coach.
Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Michigan.
And being at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, what's your relationship? Just what you could say about the head coach and what you're learning from them.
He's a great guy, Coach Gonzalez. He played at Michigan in the early 2000s. That's one of the great things about our staff. We got a lot of power forward playing and coaching experience. Like, a lot of our, I would say, I think over 50% of our staff played Division I football. So you got a lot of guys that's knowledgeable, and we work well together. What I learned about Coach is, like, I like from him, is he stay even keel for the most part. Like, the highs and lows don't bother him, which I kind of had myself, but just seeing and managing a lot of personalities, because we got wild cards on the coaching staff, wild cards as players, and you got the calm people. So being able to manage egos without getting too high or low is like what I really take from this coaching style.
And you talked about that, managing egos. You know, we live in a world where there's a lot of me in the society, a lot of what can I do to help myself? How can I take care of myself and not really necessarily thinking about other people? What can you say about the culture that is there with the team that you were talking about here, the team that you're a part of, that when you speak about managing egos and not really having them out there, just bring me into that at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, how that's occurred, because it doesn't just happen, right? So how do you live in a world where there's not a lot of ego in the culture of Orchard Lake St. Mary's?
I think for us, because most of our kids went through the storm, like our senior class was 3-6 back-to-back years and won the state championship as juniors. So it built that callous and character of understanding, like those kids knew what it felt like to loss and not be on top, but now they got the feeling of being on top. They know what it takes to win, and they facilitate that to the young guys. So you got guys who wasn't that good that won state championship, and you got young guys who only know state championship football. So imagine that dynamic and having kids from different demographics. I'm sorry. So we have kids from urban Detroit and suburban Detroit, all over the area. You got kids that's migrated from different parts of Michigan to come down because of the academics. And we're in one of the best leagues in the country, not just Michigan. I know one year when I first got to Orchard Lake, we was rated like number 5 or 6 league on Max Prep in the USA, not just Michigan. So we play a lot of high-level competition. So we train our boys to get prepared to play in college, not just win football games in high school. So that's what I think contributes to our culture, that we got so many college minds and college coaches that we're preparing our guys for the next level, not just to win now.
Yeah, you know, like you said, preparing them for the next level, getting them ready. I mean, that's, to me, that's what a coaching staff is looking for. They're not just looking for talent. They're looking for people that can understand plays, understand defenses, be able to pick things apart, have that strong mind to go with the talent that they have, to have the preparation that's going to separate them when they go and work out at a camp, and or if the coach comes to see them, to know that if they sit down and they want to talk with them about the scholastic side of the athletic world and just having that information. And, you know, Christian Brothers Academy has done a good job of that in Syracuse, New York, my alma mater. And I heard, you know, 2 of the guys that I know, Darian Williams and Dante Baccier, when they lined up in the game against Colgate, they knew by looking at the defense, they knew what they were going to do. They knew the ball was probably going to come their way because they read the defense before the ball was snapped. And so I think that's a huge part of the game, to make sure the student athletes have the IQ and not just the talent. So what do you do on a weekly basis with these guys to make sure that they understand the nuances of the defense that you're running, of what you're doing on the D line, that they understand quarterback, you know, like if a quarterback's doing this, it means this. Make sure you look for this on the offensive line. I mean, you're working within the trenches, and arguably the most important part of the game of football is right there between the offensive line and defensive line. So how are you teaching and elevating the IQ of your defensive linemen in high school so that they are ready to be able to understand collegiate offenses?
First off, I think I have an advantage because I have an assistant D-line coach with me as well, Coach Mick. So we have two sets of eyes over a whole group instead of just being me with 14 kids. So we can break off to go defensive tackles and defensive ends. But it also gives another voice to hold the kids accountable. Like we got a film expectation of, like, if the kids don't watch 2 hours by a certain day, we got push-up holes, whatever it is. And it's not nothing to try to punish the kids, but to get their mindset, like, all it takes for you to get to an hour and 30 minutes is 15 minutes a day to watch film. That's not, you on Instagram longer than that. So just simplifying it for the kids, but most of the time the kids don't miss the mark because we got a lot of bright kids. Like most of our kids is honor roll students and good kids for the most part. And they've seen the results of people doing it the right way. Like the kid I'm talking about, you see a kid go from a JV receiver to one of the highest rated defensive ends in Michigan in basically a year time. Yeah. You got examples to point to. Like last year we had 5 kids go to Michigan State. So you got examples to see what it looks like when you do it right. And you got a cheat code, like me as your coach. I've been through the ropes of knowing what it takes to get to the highest level and working with guys. Just in my training, I've trained professional athletes, college athletes. So they soak up the knowledge very well from the coaching staff. So I give our players a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, here with Eric Crume on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Syracuse Orange and NFL defensive line alum, speaking on paying it forward and working with student athletes as Crume comes to us now doing a lot of different things in this world. One of those things being the defensive line coach at Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the state of Michigan. You're also, and you made mention of it, the owner of E-Line Training. And you and I have discussed, I mean, honestly, I think I was driving through Massachusetts coming out of Foxborough when when Jacksonville was going up against the Patriots, when the Jaguars faced the Patriots in 2018 in the playoffs. And you and I were talking while I was on the road about this, training and wanting to do this, wanting to work one-on-one with linemen and to help them hone their skills and get ready. I mean, I remember that at least 7 years ago that we were having that conversation. So how has E-Line Training going? How has it evolved, and just what you can say about it?
It's totally evolved. Even the name has changed. It went from E-Line to Trenchmaster now, so it's Trenchmaster Academy. And I transitioned down from doing the full line to strictly defensive line, even though I enjoyed working with the offense. I had a lot of good kids. Like my first kid, I trained the offensive line, plays at Auburn right now. So just to get their fruitful stuff. But I really enjoyed it because I realized it's easy for me to relay messages to athletes because I work with kids all day, and then they love the fact that I went to where they're trying to go. So they a lot of times gravitate to the information and to see the results of when the kids use the coaching in their real life. So that's really my reward. Like one of my kids transferred schools, his school gave up on him and he went all conference next year. Or the guys that had 0 offers and they work the whole offseason, they come back and they start getting college Power 4 offers or whatever. So, and it creates a community because I do a lot of group training. So it creates a pocket of kids that kind of train and grow up together. So even if we had different schools, hey, we exchange the numbers. This Dan Tortora from CBA Academy, I'm Eric Crume, but we train together. So when Dan goes to Syracuse and I go somewhere, whatever it is, we still all connected and we can come back and work out together because the landscape in Michigan now has transferred from basketball to football. It's a football state now. When I was growing up, it was basketball. Like I think we had this year the second most pros in the NFL. Last year we had the last 2 years from the city of Detroit. So it's crazy. With 650,000 people, we had the most NFL players over all the big cities across America. So just being a part of that transition is a win for me.
Yeah, and like you said, and that's amazing. And like with doing this training, how do you bring guys in? How do you do? Is this you, kind of just talking to people through your coaching? Is it reaching out through connections that you have and networking with people that in the community? How can someone get in touch with you? How do you get in touch with them to have this one-on-one or group training with Eric Crume?
It's kind of networking. To some people, I just know because I know a lot of people throughout football and growing up in the sports, and a lot of people reach out through me on social media, like all my contact information. I have an Instagram page for, so it goes through a lot of facets before it gets to me. It's hearsay. Some parents like, well, where these work for me is just building relationships with people. Like once you do right, or 1 or 2 kids, the word spreads, and they'll be like, hey, who trained your son? Well, I go to E. Crume, Trenchmaster, then, I want to bring him down, and I'm always gracious. Hey, just like I tell them, don't come into plan. Let me see what they can do first, and then if you like it, then come back, and then we'll put a plan together. Like I don't force a relationship. I've had people that only come one time. I've had people that only tended to come one time if we've been working together for 3 or 4 years. So this is my next off season to be my 6th year doing it. So I've had guys that went to college and graduated and through that whole process. So even like that, so they have a guy graduated, hey, I have a little cousin coming up and I want him to get with you. Or I have a kid go all conference, then they'll see it like, who you train with? Or let me reach out to him. So a lot of it is just doing good by people and it spreads out.
Well, yeah, like you said, about that networking, but if you do good by somebody, then that will continue to spread on its own. Just the importance of that, be it this or be it anything in life, how you treat people, because you and I always discuss what the tagline of Wake Up Call is, which is where sports meets life. So to just go into that a little bit deeper, how important it is to build relationships and to not be a transactional person, but a relational person.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, just what your take is on transactional versus relationship driven and why
Uh,
it's important.
I think it's kind of like anything with when you set goals in life. If you, especially when money is involved, if you chase the money, a lot of times you want to achieve your goal. If you chase the goal, the money will come. Because when you go out to set out just trying to chase the money, sometimes the product might not be good. And with this, and with training, a lot of people can offer the same type of training, but it's just kind of like anything. A lot of people got their favorites. Like a lot of convenience stores sell the same items, but we all got our favorite convenience store, maybe because the clerk is nice or the
Yep.
appearance is nice. So I've always focused on the relationship because if I build a relationship and make you want to come back, the money will come. But if I just chase the transaction, if you had a bad experience, it's more likely you're not gonna come back. Or I train with you and the athlete tell that mom or dad, like Coach Crume is not a nice guy, or I didn't really feel like I got better. So you got to put the focus on the work and the transactions or the money, whatever you're trying to chase will come if you focus on the main. Like we say in football, keep the main thing the main thing. We here to get better. Like I tell the kids, we here to get better. I'm not here to change your game. I'm here to add to it and be a part of your journey. I don't want credit for your journey. I'm just a part of your journey and here to help you. So once we get that ground, it usually eases the ice and we get to work.
Yeah, you just said something. You said, I'm a part of your journey. I'm not here to change your game. I'm here to elevate your game, here to make your game better. I don't want the credit. There's no ego in that, Crume. And I'm not surprised because I know you and I've known you over the years, but just get into, I mean, I'd love to hear that a little bit more. That it's just, I sit here and I'm like, you always hit on stuff that is valuable and that can withstand the test of time. Relationships will always win over anything else. It'll win over money, it'll win over cars and houses and all this garbage. And at the same time, you said, I'm not here to change your game. I'm here to elevate your game. And I don't want the credit. Just go into that a little bit deeper because there's other people that are training that are like, yeah, I want you to tell everybody that I'm the best one out here to train you.
Because for taking the credit for one, it's not genuine. Because my purpose is to actually improve your game. Like I'm not here to get famous or be the world class famous trainer. I'm here to get kids better. Like it's been times I haven't posted a video in months and I've had a kid every day. But it's times you can post videos and it might slow up. So like I said, I'm focused on the work and I'm a true believer in if I get a game to a young athlete, they're gonna pay it forward. That's one of my rules I'll tell every athlete I ever train. Whatever I give you, make sure you give it back to the next generation. So that's just been a big thing of creating community amongst all the athletes. And I think it's been one of the biggest things of like, I don't want no credit. My reward is seeing you win. When I turn on my TV on Saturday night and you say Dan Tortora, Christian Brothers High School, and you on prime time, that's my reward. Like I tell the kid, all I need is a pair of shorts if you ever do it. And I buy my own ticket to the game, if anything. And that's not nothing. And it's just more of a joke because once you see them achieve something because you know you help contribute to the journey, that's my win of seeing like, I remember this kid was struggling. He finally got it. Like the kid I was talking about at Auburn, he was struggling with his agility for like the first 3 months we got together and then we pinpointed it. Then when I seen his first write-up was like his feet so amazing. That's my win. And it's like so, and I realized my career is nothing I can do to change how people look at my football career or my coaching career. Only thing I'm judged on by the success of my athletes. So I take that more personal than any gain or recognition. Oh, you could say that's like if we go train a bunch of superstar athletes. Yeah, I can help improve it, but some of the guys already had it. All I did was add a touch to it or been a voice of reason that they're able to listen to me. So that's why I say I'm not here to change your game because you might get a guy that's already super uber talented, but he might just need somebody to voice to listen to or just somebody to break down some points to him. So I'm not with changing your game because everybody has a different play style. And you might hurt a kid game of confidence. You want to build with him because we're in it together because all the work that's required, they have to do it. In actuality, yeah, we have these training sessions, but it's more demonstrating and talking. So what am I really gaining out of it by trying to get the credit? I'm not doing it. Yeah, I do the drills to demonstrate them or do it before I take it to the athletes, but I'm not out there making plays. I'm not making the sacks or the TFLs when the kids take it to the game. So my credit is seeing them produce. Production is my credit.
Well, you know I love you, and it's easy too. Eric Crume, Syracuse Orange and NFL D-line alum. I love talking with you because the message goes beyond football. Paying it forward, caring, not having an ego, being developmental, and being a father first. As I know he's here on the screen with us right now, and being a dad first and foremost as well. And so, you know, it's something that I appreciate, something I value for sure. And, you know, having Eric here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios is always something that means a lot to me. So, you know, Crume, there's a lot of different things to get into, and I love the bigger picture stuff that we always do, what we're talking about right now. As you grow and you learn, like you said, I'm not the guy getting the sacks, I'm not the guy getting the tackles for a loss. Like, you're training them, helping them with their technique, and helping them to see different things, see their tendencies. Like you said, a guy doesn't have good footwork, and you work on that with them, and first write-up is that their feet are amazing, and that's your win. What are you doing to constantly challenge yourself as the game evolves, as the game grows, as maybe rules change or different things happen? And, you know, how even sacking a quarterback, you know, and you look at things now and how they protect a quarterback and what they look to do, and bringing in targeting and what does that look like? And in the NFL, you can't fall on a quarterback. You got to hit them. Then you got to somehow, at 300 plus pounds, move yourself off of them in midair like you're Neo in the Matrix. So how are you constantly learning about the game itself so that you're prepared to adjust with your players that come in, train with you?
Just staying up to date and understand what's going on, of just knowing the landscape of how sports is transferred. Like how when I was a kid, the running back was the main guy or the big time guy, how it's transitioned to a passing league. So I always tell my guys, pay attention to what's going on with logistics of football, any sport. So if it's a passing league, you got to be able to affect the passing game. Yeah. So I tell them you have to be able to get to the quarterback if you want to sustain, because the short passing game has kind of eliminated the run game. But every week we still have to go stop the run, because if you can't stop the run, everything is available. So just really kind of keeping it simple for the guys, especially for me. I don't want to offend nobody, but I always tell the guys, like Coach Dawson tell the D-line's position for dummies, and not to be offensive to nobody, because it's literally you're playing the gap. Playing the gap or a man. Is how simple can it be? The A gap, the A gap, B gap, the B gap, C gap, D gap is whatever defense you're playing in, those gaps are still the same gap. A zero tech is a zero tech, a one tech. So just breaking it down and understanding what you got to do to get to your goal. Like I tell people, like for my players, every time a pass rusher get paid, I send it to our group chat. Yeah. Like I was telling my kids how Michael Parsons was going to break the bank 2 years ago. Just projecting, because he could affect the passing game. He went to Green Bay, had 9 pressures his first game. So it makes it easier for the other guys and just understand the landscape of football. Like I'll give you an example. Like the kid Ryan Harrington I had, but I took another kid to his workout with Pitt when Coach Dowse came by. And Coach Dowse ended up liking the younger kid a little more. But just understanding how to capitalize off opportunities. Yeah. Like I tell the kids, they might be here to see him, but make sure they know who you is before they leave. So you understand this landscape of how everything goes. So usually when it's one dominant pass rusher, another guy on the defensive line has about 8 sacks because he gets a one-on-one every game. So you understand how to learn your matchups and learn how to navigate through the politics of football as well, like picking the university. Make sure you pick a scheme that you're familiar with or something that fits your play style. How do you project? I've been doing a lot. Like I break the game down to my kids. Like I tell my defensive linemen, you want to aim to have three tackles a half, 1 TFL a half, and maybe a sack a half. I say, add that up and tell me how your stats look at the end of the game. That's 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack. You're going all conference, all state, any state in America. You do Like I'm telling you, a sack a game, you can pick wherever your mom want to live at. They be like, for real, coach, I ain't never think about it like that. I said, what was the league last year? 17, Trey Henderson. That's one a game. But if I tell you to go get 17 sacks, it sounds very tough. But I tell you to go make a play a game, you can do that.
Yeah. And I do want to say this too, as we've heard them in the background. You are a father of two. So beyond football and beyond all of that, we've talked about being a dad many times. How old are the little ones right now?
This guy is 2, Jada's 8.
So 2 and 8. Hi. How are you? You good?
You good?
Yeah, you good? You love Dad? Dad's all right?
Give me a high five.
High five? Give you a high five.
Yeah.
That's right. So you got 8 and you got 2. Are you done, Crume, or is there more to come?
Ain't nothing else to have.
What'd you say?
Ain't nothing else to have. Boy and a girl, nothing else to have.
You know what? I said that. I was like, if God ever gives me an opportunity to be a father and I have a boy and a girl, I'm the same way. Listen, I got one of both. Can't have any more than that. So, yeah. And we talked about, I can't believe, man, we talked about your little girl. How is she 8? We talked about her when she was born, 1, 2. Where did 6 years go?
Yeah, time moving.
My goodness. So what's going on with her? Because she was Miss Intelligent at 1. You were what'd you say?
Grade. She's a video gamer, an artist, very talented. She's a very artsy young girl. So I'm excited to see what she do in the future because I know she's gonna do something. I wouldn't be surprised she'd be like a world famous painter or something, or a video game creator or something, like personality off the charts.
Well, you got to let. I mean, I know I just got to see your son here for a second, but you got to let her know as well that she's welcome to come on here, and anytime she wants to show what she's got going on, we'll bring her right on. And whenever they decide what they want to do, then I'll make sure to share that here for sure because I wanna see it. Whatever her thing, because anything in life is art. So whatever art they decide to create, you make sure that we get them on the show so we can showcase them and remind her that you were sending me videos of her at 1 year when she was 1 year old. And she was on the tablet putting all this stuff together that I don't even think people in their 40s know how to do anymore.
That's why she RC and be moving and grooving now.
Yeah. So what have they done, your son and your daughter, to expand your heart, expand your mind, expand everything about your life? Because being a parent, there is nothing like it. There's no substitute. So we've seen Crume pre-parenting. What's Crume like now with 2 little ones running around the house?
It's the best thing. It keeps your mind open because there's no, how can I say this? Ain't no playbook to it, or like you get people to tell you how being a parent is, but it's really, you got to be a hands-on experience to do with it because you got to find your way and how you do things, especially me and my wife. Like, we got to find a common ground on our parenting style to make sure we doing it together, even though with different personalities. Even our kids got different personalities and the age difference between them. So it keeps you open of having to manage with him. Like, he's busy, he's young, she busy with him, but he relaxed at times. But then you got different needs. So it just keeps you open and keeps you willing to expand and learn new things of like, keep you, not saying I'm old, but it keep you young. Like, got to chase this guy around or learn what's the new dances and know what's all on social media, what's the new cartoons. So it keeps you learning new things a bit as a parent. So we got to keep knowing what's going on, what's the new fad, or just learning new stuff. So like me and my wife love being parents. Like, we be just laughing at our kids sometime or seeing how they interact or seeing how she protects him, or like when she's gone for a while, he stand by her door and miss her, or when she want him to get out of her room, but she really miss her. So it's fun being a parent.
What is harder to do? Figure out the tendency and the scheming of an offense, or being a parent?
Ooh. Parent. Offense easy. See, that's the one thing about football, especially in high school. A lot of coaches overthink this.
Yeah.
It's high school football.
Okay.
Create matchups for your best players to win. If you got a stud, get the stud to rock. You got a mismatch, you got a beast D lineman, you put them everywhere where you create mismatches where you can't game plan for them. Because what you understand about high school football, a lot of coaches don't have adjustment to the first changeup or audible ready. And we're talking about 15 to 16-year-old kids with a lot of live stuff going at them. So if I change the front a couple times, or you maybe got one audible, two if you really prepare. So and I got a lot of talent. Like, we had 15 Division I players on our team last year. So I try to be funny. It ain't that hard to do when you got some studs.
That's very true. So your wife, if she is she around right now? Can she hear us?
Yeah, she's in the living room.
Okay. All right. So I want to see how accurate this is. I like playing the game where it's like you have a couple and then I ask a question and the person's got to write it on the board and then see if they get it right. So if your wife had to describe you in 3 words, what 3?
Here. He said, if you had, I'm 11. He said, here. Say it again, Dan.
Yeah. If you had to describe Eric in 3 words, what 3 words would you use?
Caring, impatient, and a football lover.
Caring, impatient, and a football lover. One was nice, one was not great, and then one was, something that we know about you in football. So, Eric, play this nice. How would you just
make the cut?
Well, he only
I'm messing with you.
I already know that. I had to get down to the grade.
What'd you say?
I said handsome didn't make the cut.
3, not 5.
So, what 3 words would you use to describe Mrs. Crume?
Passionate, loving. Ooh. I don't want to get hit on it. Responsible.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Does she approve?
Yeah, that's true. Responsible. I feel like this more than anything. They loving and caring. I'm the responsible one.
She's the responsible one, she said. All right, fair enough.
I get to be impatient, which is true.
Yeah. And so Mrs. Crume, I got to ask you this. What do you love the most about Eric? Since I get to talk about his family with him, but I've never gotten to talk with you. So what do you love the most about Eric?
How caring he is. He's very caring. I just last night, I literally prayed before he went to sleep, and I said how thankful I am that God placed him in my life. He's the most caring, outgoing. Eric will give you his last. It's to the point where it's just unreal. That's why when we first got together years and years ago, we would bump heads because he was just too good to be true. So I'm very thankful for him. He's loving, he's caring, he does whatever we need. He's always there for us, and I truly appreciate him.
Okay, that's how you make it up.
Yeah. So I will say this to Mrs. Crume. I have yet to find a woman that speaks like that and has that close of a relationship and that good of a relationship. I will tell you this, and I'm not saying this because I'm on the air right now. I love Crume. He knows that. He's been family for a long time. But I will say this to you. How you described your husband, and after all the years that you've been together and all of that, I aspire to have a relationship with someone that loves as much as you guys love each other. So I just want to let you know that was a beautiful moment on this show, and I cannot thank you enough for hearing something like that. It was great to hear that after all the years and the ups and downs and everything that happens in life and relationships, and like you said, button heads, to hear what you just said about your husband, that shows that love still exists. So shout out to you for that, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. He's the best. I love him more than anything. I told him he's stuck with me.
Yeah. So Crume, how about that? That's some good words right there.
I like it. She did good. She did good. And she must know Christmas coming up.
Love you every single day. We
So
like a beginning love story. We still text. We love each other every morning. We take wherever we make it to our destination. We're like that. It's my best friend.
well, y'all are both giving me hope. That's a good thing.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
God bless for that. God bless for good things in life. So Crume, before I let you go, we're gonna play some rapid fire. But before we do that, next man up. Syracuse went through. Now I'm gonna bring you through. If you didn't see it yourself, I'm gonna bring you through how a Syracuse, and I'm gonna use fan with air quotes because a true fan to me doesn't talk like this. But let's just do the air quotes here. So this is how I experienced the quote unquote fan this year. So Ricky Collins Jr. going into the end of last season into this season, I got to break the news that he was with the team at the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, working out with them. Because some people saw that he had committed, but then they're like, did he sign? And people weren't sure. And then I got news that he was officially with the team. People got excited coming from LSU. So he comes in spring game. I'm taking video of him in shorts throwing the football, and people are losing their minds over it. Thousands upon thousands of people watching a 7-second video of him turning and throwing a football. Not 11 on 11, not 7 on 7, just throwing the ball. And then spring ends. They bring in Steve Angeli. They throw Ricky in the trash. Not me, but people do. Throw Ricky in the trash. They want Steve. Then Steve comes out. They don't think Steve's playing that well against Tennessee and UConn. They want to throw Steve in the trash. They ask for Ricky. Ricky comes in the Colgate game. Ricky throws an interception. Now they want Steve again. Then they like Steve because Steve does well against Clemson. Then Steve gets injured. Then they cry over Steve after saying they didn't want Steve. And then they want Ricky. Now they have to have Ricky. They're stuck with Ricky. They get Ricky. Now they're complaining about Ricky. They want Steve to come back. That's in a nutshell what's been going on in the last few months. How do you assess this, and what's your response to the split personality, I guess, of a quote-unquote fan that loves Ricky, hates Ricky, loves Steve, hates Steve. Now they want Steve, but they can't have Steve, so now they got Ricky.
I just think you got to fix your expectations. They had expectations of guys with unrealistic expectations. What were you really expecting for either one of those guys? Like, were you expecting another Kyle McCord season, or were you expecting an all ACC performance, or an 8-win guy, 10-win guy? It's really tailored on what your expectations is. Like, they wanted all them. Like, I thought Steve was playing good. He lost a game I thought we should have won, the UConn game. Then he played well against Clemson, but then you start looking at the grand scheme of things. Clemson hasn't been playing good all year. So how much grain of salt do you take that with? But then once you get Ricky in the game that I think was a winnable game at home, even though Duke was, I wouldn't say it's a tough matchup, but to get smoked at home wasn't something you should be managing. And I think kind of ticked off fans. He was missing some real easy throws. Like, you missing routine bubble screen, 5-yard throws, and then the turnovers was killers. Even they try to get a little bit momentum, the turnovers were bad. So it's a good in both, but I think the fans don't really have a real expectation. That's why they're so upset. For you to flip-flop that much in the 6-7 months span, what was your expectation from the begin with? You can't expect those guys to do what Kyle McCord did. Maybe that's a one-off. He came in and lit it up and led the ACC in passing. But then it might have just been his time. He might be a little bit more seasoned than the other guys.
Yeah.
And Steve was good too, but he played at Notre Dame. But Kyle started at Ohio State. Kyle was a drive away from beating Michigan and being in the play to potentially playing a playoff and win a championship again. Yeah. So that's something they're not thinking about as well. And like, even I'm gonna throw this to you. What does Ricky Collins remind you of when I was at Syracuse?
Who does Ricky Collins remind me of?
The scenario.
Oh, the scenario. So I would say, man.
Just think about it.
Yeah, there's after
transfer quarterback. I don't want to seem like because that's my guy. Dude is a great dude. I'm just saying the scenario.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know after you, it was the Eric Dungy, Tommy DeVito thing, and then before that, it was.
No, when I was at Syracuse.
Terrell Hunt. No, it was before that, right?
Close.
Hold on, it was before Terrell.
Compared to Ricky Collins.
Yeah,
transfer quarterback, big school.
Oh, the transfer quarterback. It's oh my goodness. See, everything runs together after a while. It was
I know who it is. I was just trying to see, did you remember?
Greg Paulus?
Drew Allen,
Oh,
Oklahoma.
no, not Greg Paulus. It was Drew. I forgot. Oh my goodness, I didn't. Drew Allen. I totally forgot. Great. I mean, honestly, Drew Allen. Because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, it's before Dungy. Terrell Hunt. I know Terrell went through injury. He went through different things that went on. Drew Allen, with no disrespect, Drew, if you're watching and listening, because you know I appreciate you and respect you too. I totally forgot about that time within it because he came from Oklahoma. That completely slipped my mind. But yeah, like you said, a guy coming from a big time program, because Ricky's coming from LSU, and then you have obviously Steve coming from Notre Dame. That completely slipped my mind that when Drew came in, everybody's like, oh, okay, he came from a big time program, so this guy needs to go win a Heisman.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's unfair to guys too, just because you got to judge them off how they play in their game. We can't take school names and all that and just assume a guy like Drew. Drew was behind Landry. What was Landry Jones that played in the NFL?
Yeah.
That played for the Steelers, and they had another guy, Blake. So it wasn't like they wasn't playing behind good guys. Like even Steve just played behind the guy you mentioned before, Riley Leonard. Like he had a good year trend. So I have to be realistic. Like even Ricky just came back. Garrett Nussmeier projected first round pick. And before that, Jaden Daniels was down at LSU won the Heisman if he was there that long. So
yeah,
you can't just pick the school name and assume guys are just gonna come win a Heisman or light it up just because you may feel Syracuse maybe a step down or whatever. But in actuality, is if you make the playoffs, you win enough games.
Yeah. No, and like you said, I mean, you bring it up, and we're looking at Ricky behind Jaden Daniels, and then Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, and then Riley was at Duke. He was playing behind somebody. Then they were going, kind of trying to figure it out between him and someone else. Then he got the starting job. Then he went to Notre Dame for Riley. And then Steve Angeli was there behind him. And then Riley finishes up at Notre Dame. So then you think, okay, he's the older guy. He's the guy that's had the most time. And so Angeli's going to be the guy they're going to give the ball to, right? He's been here for a couple of years. And then they got a true sophomore and a true freshman. And they had the true sophomore and true freshman fight for the job instead of Steve Angeli. So, I mean, because obviously if Steve had the job, he wouldn't have left and come to Syracuse. So it's just it's hard because these guys are behind other people and they just think, okay, well, if you're at LSU and you're on a roster with these guys, then you must be good. But, like I tell people, there's a reason why Steve got the job over Ricky. And obviously they felt better with Steve. It's not a knock on Ricky, but you know what somebody said to me? They're like, well, they told us that Steve and Ricky were neck and neck. So if that's the case, then it should be like a starter to a starter. So then people were critiquing Ricky based on if they were so close in fall camp, then Ricky should be just as good as Steve. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, neither one of them was a starting quarterback. Steve had he had his only start at Notre Dame in a bowl game. Outside of that, in 2023, his start in a regular season was with Syracuse. His second start ever in his lifetime was against Tennessee on neutral ground, really with a Tennessee home game with so many Tennessee fans in Georgia and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Falcons. And then you look at Ricky's first start was Duke. That was his first ever start. He had 7 passes he threw in 2 years at LSU. 7 passes in 2 years. Now, he went 7 for 7, but 7 passes in 2 years' time. So I feel like when Steve comes in, they go, well, he was at Notre Dame behind Riley Leonard. Well, he's not Riley Leonard, and he's not the starter. So, I mean, you got a guy who's 2 years removed from starting one game, and then in Ricky's case, you got a guy who's never started. So why are people having so much high expectations and holding these guys to such a high standard as if they were starters for 2 years that came from LSU or came from Notre Dame?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. They were holding them to Kyle McCord standard, but they forgot Kyle McCord actually played good at Ohio State. It just Ohio State fans kind of ran him out because he didn't win the rivalry game and they didn't have the national championship season. He played good, so it wasn't his transfer was different than the other guys. Like not trying to be funny, before the season started, them guys probably haven't won a competitive football game in 2 or 3 years since they was high school starters or the games they subbed in for. Steve won the bowl game, but like leading the offense and being the man guy in the game plan is something new to them on the Power 4 basis. Not saying playing quarterback is, but competing against other teams and game planning and scheming. Like most of the time, those guys are getting a lot of reps against the same guys, which is in practice. Or you getting some mop-up duty or something like that. And the difference is whether than any other position, quarterback is a whole different ballgame from transferring and not starting at that position. Like, I might not have started a defensive tackle here, but it's more likely I can win a starting job somewhere else because it's easy to adjust to. I'm not the main guy. I'm not dependent so much on the talent around me. Yeah. So, like Ricky, they's put out pro receivers at LSU. Yeah. Syracuse has guys, but it's not like LSU guys at receiver. No disrespect to our guys, but Brian Thomas Jr. and the guys at LSU playing the league, those are the guys were LSU with him 2-3 years ago. And so you coming in with talent that you're not used to. Might be a different scheme. And then the expectations, too. A lot of guys can't handle expectations. Like you said, they saw the videos and like, this kid already got a rocket army from LSU. He coming to say today, Steve from Notre Dame say today, where in all reality, they're here for a reason. No disrespect to those guys. I'm pretty sure if Ricky would have lit it up and he'd still be at LSU, he would still want to play in the SEC, be at LSU, compete for national champion. Same thing with Steve. Notre Dame came in as a top 10 team. I'm pretty sure if you could win the job, you could stay at Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, like you said, I mean, if these guys were the guy where they were, then they would still be there. And they were working to be the guy, working to have the opportunity, working to find the right fit for them. And it's going to take time. But we live in a microwave society. So what can you say, not just to college football, but to the NFL about the microwave society? About a minute is too long to wait for a Hot Pocket. We got to get everything done, got to get it done quick. Just this microwave society where people don't want to see, because you deal with it every day, and so do I. You're dealing with training. It's bit by bit, piece by piece. I'm doing a million things in the background to put this show together. Everything you see on the screen, I got to put this together. Just to do this screen itself, I got to bring in my video, bring in your video. Then I got to have the presets for our social media. I have to have the title here. I have to bring the logos in. And there's a ton of different things that are within the pre-production of any show. So people see the finished product and they critique the finished product or the product that's growing, but they don't see everything that goes into it. So be it the NFL, be it college football or whatever, just to speak to the microwave society and people having these expectations, just like Arch Manning, who 3 weeks into the season was apologizing to Texas fans at 2-1 because he wasn't playing that well. And I'm like, is he not playing that well? Or is he not playing up to the standards that are ridiculously outrageous of the expectation that people had of him?
I think it's personally that society has become a victim of other people's success and not their own. So if I see a true freshman go All-American, I'm a true freshman and I'm not getting in the game, I'm basing my stuff on his success. So I'm looking for the next one I'm looking for the outlier instead of what's really the truth. That's the problem I see with a lot of people.
Yeah.
We point to the outliers instead of the mass. So we'll say, such and such had 1,500 yards as a freshman. It's only 1 or 2 freshmen that had 1,500 yards. But we picked the 1 or 2 guys instead of the big sample size where all the freshmen were 400 or 500 yards, and that's the reality of it. Or like even when you hear the contract negotiations, all the kids, even growing up, all the kids pick the star player when they don't understand 90% of professional leagues is role players. Only about 10% superstars. Let's just be honest. Even in the NFL roster, you might have 1 or 2 superstars. You lucky to have 3 on the 53-man roster. I'm not talking about a star, a superstar.
Yeah.
So just understanding that and what goes into that, especially in football, the stardom don't last long because we're looking for the next because politics come into play. I'm trying to get somebody to do your job at a cheaper rate. So that eliminates a lot of things that young athletes not accustomed to with the politics coming away. So now you got coaches, GMs, and players looking for the microwave. We looking for the next boom, like the quarterback situation. 2 years, C.J. Stroud was a top 5 quarterback after that rookie year. Now people turned their back on him, but the offensive line stinks.
Yeah.
But nobody won't bring that up. But since he lit it up, he's getting held to Hall of Fame rookie year C.J. Stroud, or Jaden Daniels drop off this year, or like Arch Manning. Arch Manning was the #1 quarterback in high school, so they looking for his uncles instead of looking at Arch's game. Well, like I think Ryan Clark said, with a high school player that didn't play the good competition, and then in Texas, so you start breaking. If you're not a football person, you don't break down everything that goes into prospects and how long it takes to develop, and just see the process. Because most of the guys that are good in NFL really wasn't the superstars coming out of high school. You have a few that has always been superstars, but it's more developmental guys who are the 3 stars who start hitting their peak in college and start growing. You get a guy like Joe Burrow. He was a 3-star. Now he's an elite quarterback. The Josh Allen, so they might have had the traits to show, but they had the time to grow. But now a lot of those guys who have the talent don't get the chance to grow if they don't show it now, because I'm compared to the next superstar at my position, or especially in high school. Like it'd be a 5-star recruit. And, oh man, he getting the ball a lot and all this. He might be more physically developed than you right now, or he might play in a high-paced offense that allows him to get the ball. So you just learn to tell the kids to run your own race. But you get a lot of distractions. That happened to me when I was in high school. Oh, how this kid get more offers than me?
Yeah.
He can't fault him for colleges offering him. That's not his fault. Or like when people get paid, I wouldn't give him that money. You didn't give him that money, so why do it matter? But we compare ourselves to them and say, oh, I need $40 million. You're not putting out $40 million production. Or you're not special, and there's no fault to you. We compare ourselves to the special people instead of the reality.
Well, like you said, I mean, it's, do you want to be the next LeBron, or do you want to be the best version of you? Does Arch Manning want to be, Peyton Manning 2.0, Eli Manning 2.0, or does he want to be Arch Manning? So, I think that's what people forget. If there any Manning that's out there that's a man that didn't play football, they're probably going, okay, well, you're down a peg, right? You got Peyton and you got Eli and you got that other brother that doesn't play. Well, he's less important to us. You're up here on this. You're up on tier 1. He's on tier 5 because he didn't play football. So he's not a Manning we want to talk to. I mean, it's a weird way of looking at things, but people have this viewpoint of who someone's supposed to be. Like, what do they say about Carson Beck? They didn't look at Carson Beck and say, look at everything he did at Georgia. They said, can Carson Beck be as good as Cam Ward at Miami? And it's like, Carson Beck's not a true freshman. Why can't Carson Beck be the best Carson Beck? He's not going to be Cam Ward. He's not Cam Ward. He doesn't have the same skill set. He doesn't have the same things that he does. Doesn't have the same tendencies. And now he's playing well, but they're like, is he going to be as good as Cam Ward? Well, Cam Ward's not good in the NFL right now. But there's a look at Anthony Richardson, right? When he only lost a starting job because he's not healthy. Well, now he is healthy. He doesn't have the starting job. Daniel Jones was supposed to be trash, right? But was Daniel Jones bad, or were the Giants just not protecting him? There's all of these things that we don't break down, like you said, when you look behind it, when you go deeper, when you search the film, when you look at, okay, this person's really good, but who did they play, right? Who is the competition that they had? What were they going up against? Were they the tallest person on the field by, a foot? This guy's a really good offensive lineman, like we say about Alabama. When we talk about Alabama, and we say, is a quarterback really good and prepared for the NFL? Or did he have an NFL offensive line in Alabama and NFL receivers at Alabama, so he looked good, but he's maybe not that good? Remember when people thought Jalen Hurts must not be that great because he wasn't welcome at Alabama, because he got ousted at Alabama for Tua, and now Jalen Hurts is a national champion, won a Super Bowl, and Tua hasn't done that, and now people are talking about Jalen Hurts again? Remember when they thought Mac Jones was maybe better than Jalen, or better than this guy, or better than that guy, and then Mac Jones has had to bounce around, and he's not a starting quarterback anymore? It's just funny, Crume, how, people have all these views about who's this and who's that, and this guy's this, and is this guy that, but sometimes it's the team you're on to the detriment. Sometimes it's the team you're on to the positive. How many guys can be Barry Sanders and be on one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NFL, and lead the country in rushing yards? Right? When Peyton Manning started at the Indianapolis Colts, the team won how many games? he threw how many interceptions? And then he went on to win a Super Bowl. So I just feel like we have this belief that everyone's Peyton Manning or everyone should be or be Barry Sanders or be this or be that. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't Aaron Rodgers anymore. And now he looks like himself again. Was that a Jets thing? Or was that just he got healthier, he got better, he got around the right coach, maybe as a better nutritionist? You see what I'm getting at is like we say all these things about all these people. We say Dabo Swinney's not a good coach anymore. So he's not allowed to have one bad year in 20 years?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think you just gotta have grace period and have realistic expectations. And when people don't like, when you brought up Anthony Richardson, that was a good case because they probably seen Josh Allen. He didn't have a high completion percentage at Wyoming, and he turned out to be special. So they took the physical trait. Or like you even see, he was compared to Cam Newton. Cam Newton won the Heisman. He started a couple games. It's not the same prospect.
Yeah.
But you see the big cannon arm, the speed. But you see the speed and everything. So, I mean, all the physical traits. So we just project to see the thing that turned out well. But they don't ever bring up the bad comparisons. The guys that had the same traits that didn't pan out because we only see the good thing. Everybody want to be right picking or was saying what somebody can and can't do instead of look at the totality of their resume and career. Like Aaron Rodgers, he's probably playing a little better. He's not playing so much better in Pittsburgh. It's a better culture and a better team.
Yeah.
I got better, slightly better weapons. I got a better coach. I got better structure. So my less performance is not being magnified as much because I'm in a better situation.
Yeah.
Like any prospect, it's only a few select athletes who can play in any scheme and can outrise the scheme. Mostly every good player needs a scheme to elevate what they do. I don't care what everybody say. Every receiver want to be a pass-happy offense. It don't matter. So every can do something. Or if I'm a running back, it don't matter how special I am if we only run the ball 9 times a game. Or find a coach to believe in my skill set. Or if I'm a speed guy and I'm only running big man routes, it's not showcasing my speed. Or if I got a cannon arm and we dinking and dunking, that's not highlighting what I do well. So
no. And I can understand that, and I agree with you. And it brings me up to, before I let you go, Zaire Franklin. Right, Zaire Franklin was a 7th-round draft pick, but he spent half of his career with Scott Schaefer wanting to attack offenses, wanting to blitz like crazy, and wanting him to go after a play. And then he had 2 years with Brian Ward and a defensive coordinator who wanted to read and react, who wanted to sit back and watch a play develop and then tackle. So you see 2 years of him being this monster, and then you see 2 years of him in a horrible defense. And so to some people, they might go, oh, okay, well, Zaire was really strong, and then all of a sudden he got bad. Look at how good he was, and now he can't tackle, he can't do this, he can't do that. He was in 2 totally different schemes. One of them allowed him to be this just tenacious, physical person that he is, and the other one asked him to just sit there and wait for something to come to him. It was a terrible defense. It was a terrible scheme. I'm not sitting here trying to knock the coach. I'm just saying it was awful. And so he paid the price for that. Instead of being a 3rd-round pick, he's a 7th-round pick. And then, so people are thinking, well, who the hell is this guy? 7th-round pick, he's not going to make the team. And I'm sitting here going, oh, he's going to make the team. And then he made the team, became a captain, after his rookie contract got extended, and in the last 3 years I think all of the last 3 years, at least the last 2 years, has led the country at some point in tackles. And this past year, he was the nation's leader of every defensive position, all 32 NFL franchises, to be the leading tackler in the nation. And that's a 7th-round pick. And so I always say to people, go look at the Zaire Franklin story. Was it Zaire's fault that he was put in a different defense, in a different scheme with a guy that really wasn't using anybody to their talents? And thank goodness the Colts saw something in Zaire. Maybe they watched the film of the first 2 years, but Crume, I think that's one of the best examples that Zaire is lighting it up in the NFL, but look at how he dropped down the draft board, and I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think it had to do with scheming and poor planning.
Yeah, the defense and like I said, the team thing. They probably didn't win. You put the same player on a 9-10 win team, it's still the same guy, but it looks elevated too. And like his example was good too because it showed the opposite side how the scheme don't work in the NFL. He made an all pro expendable. You forgot he was behind Darius Leonard at first. Shaquille Leonard, he made all pro. He got hurt a couple times and they changed coordinators. He couldn't pick up the scheme, which Zaire was able to, which he made an all pro expendable, just how the scheme didn't fit him in the league, but it fit Zaire well. So it gave Zaire a chance to capitalize on his abilities, and now he's flourishing, which Shaq Leonard really haven't heard from him since then. He was all pro, but the scheme had fit what he did well from the beginning because it let him roam, freelance, and kind of do his thing. With Zaire now is running defense, he's like a quarterback of the defense. So the scheme fits what he does well. So now he's able to lead the league in tackles instead of being a guy you probably couldn't see. Just thought he'd be a special teams guy, but he's a little different though. He's a mature guy in college. Like when he was a captain his last 2 years since he was a junior. So and he was a sophomore, I think, when I graduated. So he had best of both worlds. He was starting with us and seeing a guy like Cam Lynch who did stuff right way. Then he had a running mate with Pierce. So he was able to play with so many different personalities and multiple schemes that he can adapt anywhere. And he had a tough life as a kid. He lost his mom. So his adaptability is a little different than other guys. So he's able to adapt and learn, and he's a smart guy to play football. So his journey might be a little different, but that's a great way of how scheme can elevate what you can do well. Because he's such a smart football player. He can play anywhere, but what they do with the coach fit his skill set, which kind of ex Shaquille Leonard out there didn't fit his skill set no more, but which was a great thing for Zaire. So.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the background and the deeper dive into his story as well. Before we jump into rapid fire really quick, Crume, just your take. We talked about Syracuse a bit here, but what have you seen, being a former Syracuse defensive lineman, Kevin Jobity Jr., he was like a third string guy. He's found his way to be a starter. We look at David Amapariola, who was a linebacker, shifted to an edge guy. David Reese, who played at Cal in Florida, transferred to Syracuse. He's in his 8th season of eligibility, and he's an edge guy for the Syracuse Orange, wearing number 8 because it's his 8th year of eligibility. So, there's a bunch of different guys that have been on, coming in and trying to make things happen. How do you assess this defensive line? And, Nick Williams is the D-line coach. Just what your takeaways have been about Syracuse's defensive line.
I think they're a good unit. I don't think it's the dynamic playmakers I've probably seen like the last couple of years. Like might have a guy that just jumps out in the group, but I think they play well together, which I think's hurt them, especially the last game. They got down too much too early. Like I think they play good football when they make teams drive, actually put a drive together. But we give up a lot of big plays as a defense. Like a lot of Duke plays was 50, 60 yards. It wasn't a boom, 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 or it was after a short field turnover. I think they're a solid group. I think we play the run well. I just think we can make more plays as a group and be dynamic. That will help out a little bit in the back end with the young corner as well. But I think it's a very seasoned group. I just don't think we have the dynamic playmaker that some groups have, but I think they play well together and being experienced that they handle sudden change with. I think they do a good job, especially with sudden change. Like they hold up for a lot of times on the 3 after a turnover. Like they battle well, but I don't think it's just that dynamic pass rusher in the group.
Well, and you were talking about just what you've seen from them up to this point, and maybe not having the dynamic guy that has shown himself yet. The point of tackling, I mean, to somebody, well, obviously you got to tackle on defense, right? It's an easy thing to hear, but technique is important. What are you seeing in their technique? Because Fran was talking about tackling and discussing it over the first few weeks of the season. What are you seeing from Syracuse's defensive line, defense as a whole, when it comes to trying to stop guys in the open field, the technical element of it?
Honestly, I don't think it's just Syracuse. You look across just landscape of tackling is bad a lot because a lot of times teams lesson up hitting in practice. Everybody now is physical, and then you see a lot of, especially back end guys, stop their feet in the open field. Like it's a lot a lot of shoulder bumps with no wrap-ups. And I know for us, we don't run through contact when we make tackles. I'm talking about Syracuse.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're catching, you see guys, especially when they run the ball, they going forward. We don't hit impact and make people go backwards. Like, it's a lot of hidden yards that still gain from when we tackling. Missed tackles in the open field, so you turn a 6-yard gain to 20. And those yards accumulate over the end of the games, or like the little hits that you didn't make. And you look up and like, man, we got about 60 yards and hidden yards from us not tackling well. And all it takes is 1 or 2 missed tackles to turn a small gain into a touchdown.
Yeah. So for you, when you look at, like you said, it's not just a Syracuse problem, it's happening throughout college football. What do you think is the best thing that Syracuse has shown you, about halfway through this season up to this point? What is it about Syracuse, being offense, defense, special teams? What do you like about the team so far this year?
Honestly, I think we got some good guys on the outside. I just think we can't put a complete game together. Like, I love was Demetrius Wise, that's his first name. I've messed up. I forgive you. The freshman corner.
Oh, Demetrius Samuel. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I messed up his name, but but I like the way he competes. Like, we got guys that are competing, but I don't think we put it all together where it goes one unit. Like, I love how the receivers stepped up in the Clemson game, making tough catches. What's Simmons? I'm bad with names. Yeah, with the 2 last names, make tough catches.
Justice Ross Simmons, Daryl Gill.
Ross Simmons. Yeah. So you have a bunch of guys who stepped up production after Gadsden left. A lot of key guys left. I think we had guys step up. I do like to lean on the running game more with the big Willis. I think they could use him more. I think we got good pieces.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's not flowing all the game. And I love Coach Fran, so that's always my bright spot. I love that they kind of resilient when stuff get bad. Like, you don't see bad energy from Syracuse. Like, it's been times I've seen just as a player and alumni in the past where we getting bopped and it looked like we threw in the towel. Like, even when they was down 30, they kept fighting. So that's my big thing, is seeing how resilient this team is from having a big win, but we just have to put our pieces in position to make more plays. Just my assumption. Like, I love our pieces. I don't love how it's rolling together.
Yeah. You love the individual talent, but you're not seeing the cohesiveness yet.
Yeah.
So you said you love Coach Fran. Why?
Cause he's real, and he's about the work. Like, he lets you know how he feel, right, wrong, or indifferent, and he just got an aura about the culture. Like, I would like to play for that guy. Like, even as an alumni, like, you could just tell he's here to make an impact on lives beyond football. Like, he wanted to get the young man prepared for when they see him 10 years down the line, or when you interview them when they have their kids and stuff. It's like, yeah, Coach Fran prepared us for life. And you don't get that from a lot of coaches, because these guys' livelihood is on the line from players' performance. Yeah. And a lot of coaches you get are strictly about business, because their family livelihoods is dictated on how you perform and winning games. And you can just tell, yeah, he want to win games, but life is the bigger mission. And that's something that I can always relate to. And he make them guys compete. And sometimes, even with good teams, that you got to see 10 teams that have 10, 11 wins that don't compete. They just better than everybody else. These guys come compete. Like, when he had to make a run after and all that, he going to get the best out of you. So I can always respect the coach like that.
Eric Crume, big words for Fran Brown, and I can echo those, and I appreciate those sentiments. Here where sports meets life, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. A Wake Up Call special presentation featuring Eric Crume, Syracuse Orange and NFL defensive line alum, and of course coaching D lineman as he continues to pay it forward with his own training as well as at the high school level, and sending guys off to awesome opportunities in college football. So, Crume, it's time to play some rapid fire. Let's hop into it. You can ask me the first question. Any topic, any question, what do you got?
You got to be quick, or...
It could be anything you want.
Oh, give me your starting 5 Syracuse basketball lineup all time.
This is so hard. Okay, so Derek Coleman at center.
Detroit.
Huh, yeah, Detroit, that's right. Derek Coleman at center. Oh, boy. Oh, man. So Derek Coleman at center. Give me Mello at small forward. Give me John Wallace at power forward, and then my backcourt. Then I'm going to put Lawrence Moten as my shooting guard, Pearl Washington as my point guard.
I can get with it. I can rock with that. I can rock with that. That's good work right there.
Yeah. All right, that's in the moment. All right, so Crume, give me your Syracuse all-time defensive line. 4 guys.
Ooh. Gotta go Dwight Freeney. I'm gonna go Dwight Freeney and Tim Green.
Okay.
I don't know. I might be T. Chan. You might have got me. See, I might be biased for my teammates. See, that's kind of hard.
Who you got?
It's new age football. I'm just put the best 4 out there.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Dwight, Tim Green, and I'm gonna roll with the Jones brothers, and we gonna ball.
Okay. Dwight Freeney, Tim Green, Arthur Jones, Chandler Jones. Okay, I'm gonna write this down so I got this in my memory here. What's your next question for me?
What's the best college stadium environment you've been to?
Wow, that's good. It's got to be Penn State. It's got to be Penn State. Cincinnati Nippert Stadium was rocking. Shout out to the Bearcats. And I got to give love to Florida State in Tallahassee with Florida State hosting. That was pretty awesome. But, man, when I went to Penn State for the college football playoff, and it was the first round in the historic 12-team playoff last season, and I got to go out there to Beaver Stadium, Happy Valley, and, I mean, I pulled up. You're, like, set up on, like, this, like, mountain, and there's just, like, levels of parking in the grass, and it was, like, 12 degrees outside. You walk it, so there's 106+ thousand people there. Plus, you're talking about it was cold, and there was still some snow on the ground, not on the field. That atmosphere was crazy. I walked out of there, and I said, if football is a Southern thing, then Penn State has a Southern zip code. So I'm going to say Penn State to the fans out at Penn State for the Nittany Lions. Y'all know how to ball. Y'all know how to party. And the atmosphere was one of the greatest things I've ever experienced. I can't wait to come back. So shout out to Penn State because they do it well, for sure. My question back to you, what is the hardest environment that you ever played in at Syracuse? And what do you consider to be the easiest environment that you played in?
Hardest? I say Florida State because they bopped them, so I had to say, and they were still there. They was up 50. We played against the national championship team when they won the championship. So
was that the first time that y'all played Florida State in the ACC when it was like 59-3?
Yep. James Winston. That was a pro-loaded team. That's the one they say was in that greatest all-time debate.
Wasn't that the time when Julian Wiggum went off the field on the stretcher?
Hospital. Yeah, they play hangman on the sideline.
Yeah, I was 100% at that game. I was on site for that game.
I think they had like 20 pros on their team though. They had a squad.
Yeah, they did.
The easiest one? See, it's hard for me to say easy because we don't get no noise playing defense. So it's not like it's more the offense. So I don't really get affected by like the noise. It'll probably have to be somebody who ain't have a big fan turnout. I guess probably like a Mac school or something we play, but it ain't really.
Well, who do you consider to be the ACC team that you felt like you owned?
I don't know, Dan. We went 3-6 my senior. I'm 3-9. I can't really say. It might have been us, so I can't really say. I can't say that. I'd be disingenuous. I can't say that. Well, I never lost to Wake Forest, so I'm gonna go Wake Forest. I never lost to Wake Forest.
Oh, Crume, you always get me. All right,
I beat them 3 times. So Wake Forest, that was my first win in college, the first game. Then that was my last win my senior year against Wake Forest on my birthday. So Wake Forest.
Okay, I'll go Wake Forest. What's your last question for that? I gotta clip that out. What's your last question for me?
Oh, it's a 2-part question.
All right.
If you could broadcast a game with any other broadcaster, and what kind of event would it be?
So if I could broadcast
Any other.
so I got to pick a broadcaster and an event.
So
So
if it's Bob Costas, Super Bowl, Mike
yeah.
Tariq, just something like that.
Yeah, I would say give me Mike Tirico Sunday night or Monday night football. And then I would also say give me Bob Costas in the Olympics.
Okay.
That's
Now
what I
we
was.
cooking. Now we cooking.
All right. So my last question for you. All right, Crume. You and I are gonna do. So I got an entertainment show called Super Powered Pop, and we cover New York Comic Con. We do a bunch of different things. So you're gonna co-host Super Powered Pop with me. I've interviewed actors, actresses, writers, and illustrators. So if you're co-hosting Super Powered Pop with me, what 3 entertainers are we interviewing?
They're dead or alive. You said pop. This is
And so it could be either dead or alive.
no. If it's pop, I gotta go Michael Jackson. No more. Gotta do Mike.
Okay.
See, you see, the music threw me off. See, I had some people to think about. See, the pop, it kind of.
Yeah, well, Super Powered Pop is just pop culture. What's going on in the times? So it could be a little bit of everything.
Ooh, that's tough.
So we got Michael Jackson.
Good. It's a pop culture.
Yeah, we got Mike Jack. Who else we got?
Ooh. I have to do got to do Michael Jordan too for the sneakers, for the culture and the music tied together. Do double Mike.
Okay.
For the culture. Allen Iverson.
All right, so I want to know why the 2 Mikes and why Allen.
You said, once you said for the culture, because Allen Iverson like a folk hero in the urban community. Like you be saying, like how people love Michael. People love Allen Iverson. I don't think it's one sports fan of basketball who don't love Allen Iverson. That was a kid, like one of the 2 cornrows. Like he made the NBA change the dress code. So just to pick his brain and being the first on pop culture, how music and everything tied in sports, and how he was the face of the tattoos and everything. Like everything they tried to associate bad with basketball was tied to AI.
Okay. All right, I like that. And then why Mike and Mike?
Icons. Ain't too many. I think there's probably the 2. Michael Jordan probably the most famous athlete ever, and I think Michael Jackson probably the most famous entertainer ever. Just because like kids know who Michael Jackson is, and Michael Jackson been deceased for 15 years, or like Michael Thriller came out and my mom would listen to that, clean it up. So just seeing the impact of how he could transcend 5 or 6 decades of humans. Like it's people that know Michael Jackson from the 60s up until now. So to be able to be special for 50 years is something I would love to just get an insight on and just see him in a different light. Every interview was about all the bad stuff where they wanted to portray, just to have just a conversation.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I find myself, I never met Michael Jackson, but I'm sitting here, I defend him all the time, and I defend him, I defend Prince. It's just, it's wild to see, and I always think it's like when somebody passes away, people, I mean, we saw that in our country within these last couple of weeks, right? Somebody passed away and like people were crapping on somebody that can't defend themselves. And so, I think, and I always say that about Mike. I'm like, man, I was like, leave Michael Jackson alone, man. Like, it's just, I mean, he changed everything. He changed how you dance. He changed how you entertain. I mean, is there a better entertainer that has walked the earth other than Michael Jackson? You know what I mean? So, and there's just something about him, and everything about him, like everything was crazy. Like there's nothing like Thriller. And I challenge people. I think the best album he ever did was Dangerous. And I think that's my favorite Michael Jackson album, even though there's Thriller and all that. I love Dangerous. It's his eyes with the circus around him, and there's just that song Jam on it, the song Dangerous. Remember the Times on that one. But there's something about him. The Free Willy song, you know, will you? What is it? I think it's the doom dun 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 dun, that song. Like there's just every time I heard it on Free, I would watch Free Willy just to fast forward and hear the Michael Jackson song. So, I mean, Michael, there's just something about him, and just like even how Chris Tucker talks about him when he's like, you know, he was on the set, and like that's one of the last songs that he did when it was on the Invincible album, when he's in that thing, and he's like, you can't get that girl, Michael. Ain't nobody can get that girl. And he's like, I'm gonna do my Michael impression now. He's like, Chris, I can get that girl. And he's like, no, you can't. He's like, you can't get that girl. And he's like, watch me. And he's like, I bet you Neverland. You can't get that girl. Like that intro between Chris and Michael, like, and it's cool to like hear Chris Tucker's comedy, and then he talks about like how close him and Michael were, and like that's so cool to me that him and Michael had such a good relationship. So, I mean, dude, Michael Jackson's gonna live on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and well beyond the cockroaches of this world. So, put some respect on Michael Jackson's name is all I'm gonna say. So, with that being said, Crume doing the Thriller dance right now. But with that, Syracuse Orange NFL D-line alum, proud father, proud husband, awesome person. I can never say enough, and I never know how to say goodbye because I just love you, and I appreciate you, and you've always been family. So we need to do what we said a long time ago, Crume. We need to get together, so let's try and figure that out.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Love you too, my brother. It's Libra season.
That's right.
Can't wait to hear about your birthday festivities.
Yeah, I'm turning the big 4 with the 0 this year. So.
Hey man, you've been in 5 different decades. You old head.
Yeah, I said, how did I become the old head now? How did I become unk now? So this is weird. But
I be messing with my brothers and sisters because they turned 42. I said, y'all been alive in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. You've been alive 5 decades. You old.
How old are you, Crume?
Be 32.
All right. Okay. You're all right. So you've been around for a minute, but I appreciate you as always, and I send my love, of course, to your wife and to your kids, to your whole family, to the Crume squad, and I look forward to talking with you soon, brother.
All right, brother. Have a blessed one.
You too.